hang them on each end.
Yeah.
One of them.
Very boring today. So I'm just going to kind of put this in the middle here and then...
I know a French song. As my husband said in the wedding speech, my husband said, I'm going to begin with a number by Celine Dion.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I want to welcome everyone here in the audience and also everyone who's watching online at home. Mr. Lejean is in the Conseil de classe right now, and he will be joining us as soon as he's finished, probably around 7:15. Just to let you know, the evening program will begin with each candidate introducing themselves. It'll be just their name, as their statements and their videos are online, and that way we can get as many questions in as possible. We'll go directly to the Q&A. We have 23 candidates. I think we're just missing one who might be coming later. I've given them instructions to keep their answers fairly short, and we are planning on ending the session at 8:30, so that gives us, just short of a couple of hours. We'll ask the audience to line up in front over here to ask their questions. We'll also be taking questions from our live online chat. Let's keep our questions focused and clear, and I think this is a really valuable opportunity for us to meet our candidates, and I encourage everyone to focus on the positive future of our board and our institution. So thank you. I will let the candidates introduce themselves.
Hello, good evening. My name is Martina Serrata. I'm a parent at Sausalito.
Hello, my name is Sue Mann, and I am Sausalito.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Natacha Fin. Je suis une maman de Ashbury.
Bonsoir, je suis également maman à Ashbury. My name is Hallie Cavallo, and I'm an alumna of the school.
Good evening, I'm Eileen Letterman, and I'm a parent here at Ortega.
Bonsoir, je suis Bertrand Cariou, je suis parent à Ortega et à Ashbury.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Éric Moreau, je suis un parent à Sausalito.
Hello, my name is Emmett Berg. I'm a parent from Sausalito.
Bonsoir à tous, good evening everyone. Je m'appelle Jean-François Mullet et j'ai deux enfants, Mathieu et Nicolas Ortega.
Good evening, my name is Caroline Philippon-Caroy and I'm an Ashbury parent.
Good evening, my name is Stella Ohm and I'm a parent at Sausalito.
Bonsoir, Didier Prophète, parent à Ashbury.
Good evening, William Holtzman from Ashbury, but you can call me Bill.
Hi, Rob Weir, parent at Ashbury.
Hello, my name is Brandon Hoyles, and I'm a parent at the Ashbury campus.
J'espère qu'il marche. Oui. Bonsoir, je m'appelle Béatrice Tony et j'ai une fille, Myriam, qui est en 6e à Ortega.
Bonsoir, je suis Pierre Georgel, je suis un parent à Ashbury. Good evening, I'm Jaime Rossi and I'm a parent on the Ashbury campus.
I'm Jim Ratner, I'm a parent at Ashbury.
Bonjour, Isabelle Carman. Donc j'ai un enfant, une fille à Ortega, un fils à Sausalito et avant ça ils étaient à Ashbury.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Mélanie Ménard. J'ai 3 enfants, 2 à Ortega et 1 à Sausalito.
Are we done? The introduction's okay.
Yeah, middle. Okay. Is this thing on?
Thank you. So if anybody has questions, we can just start lining up. And we can start right away. I know that Joseph is on his way, so he'll be here in a second.
Oh, sure. Hi, my name is Marta. Some of you might know me. I'm married to Yosef.
who should be here any minute. My question is for Hallie, actually. Hallie, at the General Assembly, I was surprised by your level of kind of aggression and, in my opinion, outright disrespect for the teacher representatives. And so I guess my question is twofold. First, how many times did you have one-on-one conversations with those teacher representatives before you felt entitled to publicly demand their resignations in front of the community? Second, should we take your seemingly anti-teacher stance to mean that you would not want teachers to be on the board? You don't think that they have a voice to contribute at the board level?
Thank you, Marta, for your question. Many of you, I think, were at the GA and have seen it online or seen the transcript at this point. I'm sorry you felt that I was aggressive and disrespectful. I don't feel that way.
Closer to the microphone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Should I start over?
No, I heard you.
Okay. Sorry, I should start over? Okay. All right. Let's see. I did not talk to either of the teacher trustees on the board. I've never approached them, and they've never approached me to ask my opinion. And I'm looking forward to having a discussion with everybody up here on stage about how we can find out more from teachers, find out more from parents, find out more from staff, kids, other trustees who've been here in the past, about what the community wants. And then I think it's time to go back to the community and ask them what they would like, and ask for a vote of who would like to participate and what our board composition should look like.
Right, so you did not, in fact, contact them before you felt entitled to. Okay, I just thought
Marta,
that might be relevant.
You were there with me. We were all together, and the board, except for the teachers, resigned. And I asked them if they would consider resigning.
You kind of demanded, but that's fine. I understand.
Okay. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
Did I answer your question?
You did. It was kind of twofold. Did you talk to them before, and then, well, I guess you said you would vote the community or ask whether teachers should be involved. So you're questioning whether they should have a voice.
I'm saying everybody should have a voice. I really wish that our school had go back to the model what we had before of governance that involves teachers as partners, parents as partners, staff, administration. And so I don't feel it's my place to say right now, without doing any amount of more research and talking to other people who have been on the board, whether they're teachers or not, about what the future governance of our schools should look like. But I intend to ask the community what they think before I make any decisions.
Yeah, I think talking is relevant.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad we're talking tonight.
Hi. Oh, yes. Hi. My name is Julian. There's almost as many candidates as parents in the room. My question is there anybody on the board that's candidate that thinks we should skip a 17-people board? Given I said that last year, but Apple Computer has 7 people on the board. So is there anybody that thinks that we should not reduce the board? And if so, why?
Just let anybody who wants to answer that question go ahead.
I'm Jaime Rossi, and I'm actually my daughter is in her first year here, so I've only been with the community for 3 months. But I can tell you from experience with other schools, there's no magic number to a board. Many boards have more than 20 people. Some boards have 10 people. So it's not about the number. It's about the consultation and how the board acts with each other. So I don't think there's any real rationale to reduce the number of board members. So I personally don't think it's a great idea.
Well, I can add on to that the only reason that 15 seems a number for right now, at least for 15 candidates that seem to have similar statements, is that we have 5 representatives from each campus. And we try to have an egalitarian effort. And so that is essentially our starting point. And where we go from there, whether we go to quarterly board meetings or make other changes to composition, it really is just an arbitrary number. So that's basically all I can say.
Would anybody else like to respond to the question?
Natasha Fain here. I just want to say that I think that what was touched on is the most important thing is to try to build consensus in a respectful environment. It's about the number of people. It's about the way the people are working in a collaborative fashion to move things forward. And I think that has to be in a context of mutual respect and respect for the law.
I'd just like to say again that we are taking questions online, so please, for those of you that are watching at home, please go ahead and log on to your chat and post your questions.
Hello, my name is Fatima Moore. I'm a parent at the Ashbury campus. My question is for Bertrand Cariou. We have third graders, both of us, and this year, Monsieur Lejeune has refused to pay the teacher for a few extra hours they work on the field trip, resulting to all children's third graders and fourth grader field trip. Do you support that decision?
I don't know what is behind the reason, so I can't respond to the question because I didn't think about it. What I've seen is that the kids didn't get to go out. However, I don't know why, so I can't respond.
So you didn't ask the question to anyone, or what was the consequence, and you just accepted the fact that the field trip was canceled?
It was canceled, but I don't know the reasons. I'm not part of the administration. I'm not part of the teachers, and nobody talked to me about it, so I don't know.
But the decision was made by the administration. Did you agree with that decision, yes or no? You just accepted, basically.
It was done. I didn't have to accept or not. I had nothing to say. So, yeah.
Hello, I'm Shelley Nguyen Rossier. I'm a mom of two girls. On the Ashbury campus. And my question is a general question for all the 15 candidates on the slate. The last couple of years, it has been very toxic at our school, and things have been very divisive. Last spring, we had an election where we had two political camps, quote-unquote political camps. And this time, it seems like the board decided there should not be any groups or camps, but it seems like there is a slate. And my question is, does that mean that you only have one stance, one viewpoint, and corollary, how will you be able to work with other members who are not part of your slate if they are also elected with you? And secondly, just a cursory glance at your slate, there's only Caucasians on your slate, and that does not represent what is on the school. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Natasha Fain. I just want to take a moment to answer this because I had the same concern that you did. And I can tell you that I specifically asked, listen, I need diversity of opinion. What unites the people that I have come to talk with is a deep concern for where the school was going and the need to have rational, reasonable, respectful, above-board, legal, ethical practices. I do not agree with everyone, even in the group of people I've met, and I've had no problem agreeing to disagree with them, as I would any other member of the board. I'll let other people answer, but it was particularly my concern. I can tell you I'm French, I'm American, I'm Jewish, I'm a New Yorker, I'm a San Franciscan. I have diversity is important to me, and that's something that I would be interested in working on, and that's all I can say. I cannot be a person of color, but I can dialogue about it, and it's important.
Hi. So my name is Melanie, and I'm a quarter Vietnamese, so I don't feel I'm Caucasian. I'm coming from a family of migrants, and what is important to me is the journey that I've had since my birth. being from Poland, Vietnam, France, raised in the eastern part of France, raised in Morocco, and then all my way here. And I went to Japan and many other countries. Diversity for me is key. And when I choose this school, I chose it for the French curriculum, but I also chose it because we have, many people from many parts of the world. So what I would like to share with you is I am not feeling that I'm in a Slate. I am feeling that I am pursuing a dream, because I'm really pursuing a dream here, that we can all work together, be respectful, reasonable, and work and execute things. So this is my view, so I hope I answer your question.
And my name's Emmett once again, and I'm really running as a proxy for my wife, Esther. I'm running as a proxy for my wife, Esther. She is une Parisienne. She is also Korean, and now she's a Korean-American naturalized citizen. And so that means that our son is a Hapa child at Sausalito, and perhaps faces challenges that some but other children may not face. And I don't know if this gives me additional sensitivity towards issues of multiculturalism, but I tell you that when you see me, you also see my wife behind me and her ideas, and I believe that represents part of what you seek. Thank you very much.
Why didn't your wife run then?
Where's my wife? Oh,
Why didn't your wife run?
I'm glad to have the opportunity. She is the breadwinner of our family, and she took a new job at a bank called Morgan Stanley that she has to focus all of her efforts on. She can't bet that this might be a failure for this new board to come in and for it to be a bunch of crosstalk and chaos and have to go through the whole slate and further questions about what might happen next. I really wouldn't let her, and she wouldn't let herself, because she's got to take on a terrific new job. And so honestly, I felt when I say I'm a proxy for her, I'm honest. It would be her. And there's a couple of people on this board that recruited her instead of me. I'm definitely the second place candidate in our family.
I'm Jean-François Mulet. If I'm elected, I'm committed to work with everyone on the Board of Trustees. I believe I will be elected to represent the community, and therefore you have to respect the choice of the community. And as a sign, Yosef joined last Slate, and he should introduce himself.
Oh, thank you. We have a Slate now?
No. Yes.
Well, I think I'm notoriously known, so for good or bad, Yosef Pierce, I'm the current president, and I'm seeking your vote again. If I'll answer that question. I had some discussions with various people before the election, and I was somewhat disappointed to discover that there is some sort of a slate. At the end of the day, from my experience on the board, and I was on the board for 7 months, when the rubber meets the road, you're going to work with whoever is there. I mean, what's your opinions or what's your position coming into the process don't really matter, and I think there are many people on this group that I've worked with in various capacity, either as a board member or as a parent from the community. But it does take, I think it's not fair in the sense that if we get 15 statements that have the same 3 principles and the same 3 components again and again and again, I think it takes away from the individual skill set of the person. I think we're missing what the individual can contribute, and basically turns out into some sort of a popularity contest. And that's what happened, I think, last time, and I wish it wouldn't repeat this time. But it's not up to me.
So the question was twofold. About the slate, I don't think it is. It's just like 15 people that care about the school and they came together. We don't agree all the time. For many, many things we disagree, but we could come together on some key points, and I think that's important. And so that's why I think no matter who gets elected, people are going to work together. I don't think like any of us are trying to antagonize anybody. At least that's not our intention. As for the minority, I apologize that we don't have a more diverse group, but as the only dad room parent in Ashbury, I do understand that diversity is important. I'm glad there is more dad getting involved, but yeah, I mean, it takes all of us. It takes a village.
I just want to say also as a first-year parent that, look, 15 people on this grouping are going to win. And whoever the 15 are, we're going to do our best to work together. And I think that's actually truly the case. I know that there's probably been a lot of anger and rancor that's gone before, and I really hope that most of us can put that behind us, no matter how it rolls next week. In terms of, diversity, my family's from Peru. My wife is Filipina. We speak Spanish and Portuguese. My daughter's half Filipina, and we speak a little bit of Tagalog. And we sent her to a French school, so we got that going for us.
Excuse me if I don't answer to you in American. It's quite difficult for me. I prefer French, but if you want me to translate after, I can do it. Je suis Béatrice Tony. Je suis nouvellement arrivée au lycée. Je suis magistrate en France. Si j'ai choisi de m'engager, c'est parce que je pense qu'il y a un vrai problème et qu'il y a plein de parents de bonne volonté qui sont de la même façon que la majorité des parents et certainement de l'équipe éducative ici, lassés des problèmes de groupe et des guerres intestines qui veulent autre chose. J'ai rencontré des tas de parents qui avaient la même attitude que moi, c'est-à-dire de vouloir donner leur temps sans préjugés, sans idées préconçues, et on est d'accord pour partager nos idées et débattre au sein d'un conseil d'administration avec les autres de bonne volonté, quel que soit l'endroit où ils ont posé leur candidature. Si nous l'avons fait à 15 comme indépendants, c'est parce qu'il est important pour nous de dire qu'on était indépendants de présupposés ou d'une histoire qui avait été pour l'instant altérée par des dissensions. On est indépendants, on a choisi une plateforme commune, on se rejoint tous sur une idée, c'est qu'on veut apporter notre travail pour essayer de changer les relations dans cette école et donner le meilleur potentiel pour l'école et pour la réussite de nos enfants. Voilà ce qui nous rassemble.
Sorry, I'd like to just add on as well. I'm Eileen Letterman, and I think I might be the one with the longest tenure that's running for the board. I'm not sure. I've been in this community 11 years. My children I've watched go from preschool through middle school and into high school. And the bottom line as to why I'm here is because I want to see their education continue and excel and be exceptional. Fundamental reason. So I am here to work with any of the 15 people that are up here. And if I'm not elected, I'm still here to work with these people in any capacity that they may wish to engage me in. That's the bottom line. I realize that I have volunteered my time in various ways, and this is the next step. As far as diversity, my husband is Colombian, so I know how to pronounce Jaime's name. And so my children are American and Colombian. They are working on being trilingual. Maybe they will get to a fourth language. I don't know. We'll see. But they have that opportunity with Latin, and they also have the opportunity outside of school with their Hebrew. So the bottom line is we chose the Lycée 12 years ago because it is a multicultural, multilingual, international community. And that's what I support, and that's why I'm here.
And to add to that, I'm Irish and barely speak English. But the reason I joined this group, whether you call it a Slate or not, is because I spoke to one other member here, Jean-Francois, and he said to me, you know what, I want this school to be the best school ever. And so that's why I'm running for the board. And anybody who has the same like-minded as myself is why I'm here running alongside these people to make it the best school that possibly could be.
My name is Greg Cavallo. I have a question for Joseph Peretz and Stella Ohm. On October 6th, you both signed a letter, a lengthy letter accusing Mr. Lejeune of insubordination that was sent to the AEFE and the French government. The letter did not, however, come from the board, but from a minority of trustees, including you both. Do you regret the decision to act unilaterally without board authority when writing to parties outside the school, such as that letter? If reelected, would you do it again? When you're in the minority, would you act outside the board's authority as trustees? And would you sign a code of conduct that requires the board to act as one body?
So yes, we did send that letter. It was critical of the head of school's performance. It was very difficult to work with him at times to have him implement some of our decisions, and that is unfortunate for the school. In terms of the board acting without full board authority, there is precedent. It's not supposed to be done, but the Peter Stevens Executive Committee actually acted to remove the deputy headmaster here at Ortega without advising the full board prior to doing so.
With all due respect, that's not an issue of. That's not an issue of.
No, that is the issue.
The minority. They're an elected executive committee.
That is the issue, because when we're talking about acting without full board authority, that precisely set the tone and set the stage for why we reacted in the way that we did. And there was concern that things were going on without full board authority, and we were quite concerned about where that was leading the school, particularly this campus, because it is still operating without a deputy headmaster. And so, no, I do not regret that letter at all.
So we can expect the same from you if you're in a minority of the board?
What you can expect from me, and I am sick, so raspy voice, but what you can expect from me is concerned outreach, continued outreach to the AEFE. And as I explained previously at the General Assembly, we have a joint employment situation. And so we have a board that is responsible for an administration that has absolutely zero control over the headmaster and the directors of each of the campuses. Thank you, I appreciate that. And in order to execute our business, which is to educate the children, we have to be able to work cooperatively. And so if the headmaster refuses to do something or goes against our recommendation, then we need to have some sort of recourse above him to the AEFE, and that's precisely what that letter was intended to do. Specifically, we said, we are not interested in removing him, because that's already happened before. Prior to us, other boards had sought to remove the head of school, and so that doesn't really fix the problem, because it cuts off the head of one Medusa and another one grows in its place. What we want to do is to have accountability, so that if in the event some directives are avoided, ignored, dismissed, whatever, then we have some recourse to elevate it up and then deal with it in-house.
So is his accountability to individual trustees, or is it to the Board of Trustees?
Let me answer that. Thanks, Greg, for bringing that issue up. First of all, we're not in North Korea here. Different people have different opinions. There's no board authority. If I'm elected as a trustee, I have an independent duty to the community, not as part of the group, but an independent duty to the community. So I don't need anyone's permission to do anything on behalf of the board. So if I think that someone is acting outside of their purview, I may act upon it. I'm not saying that I'm going to do it all the time, but I may act upon it. In the same manner, for example, if you ask me if I'm going to do it again, so just so you know, what I was doing on my own, along with Stella, is, for example, spending 20, 30 hours a week to try to sort out the Sausalito situation, to negotiate with the city of Sausalito, and we did it without board authority. We got the authority from the board, and we acted upon it because we thought that's the best. We're doing something at the best interest of the school.
But you got the authority of the board. That's what you just said. You said you got the authority of the board. Did you get the authority of the board before you sent the letter to the AEFE accusing Mr. Lejeune of insubordination?
Greg, I didn't get any authority in the board in the sense that somebody told me, go ahead and do it. I just spent the time and went and met with people and spent 20 hours of my professional time to resolve problems that apply to you and apply to probably 2/3 of the people here. So instead of seeing the positive part of it, that I'm trying to figure out problems and resolve them, and ultimately our letter had an impact, because ultimately what had happened we had a visit from someone from the AFE, and we were able to follow through and execute the decisions that the board made a couple of months earlier and were stalled by certain people on the board. So if that got us to a place where we were able to execute a decision that was voted unanimously by the board, then I've obviously stand behind it. And sometimes, Greg, you need to take leadership. Nobody gives you leadership. You need to take it. That's the way it works. And after that, Greg, after that, I was voted by my fellow trustees to be the president. There's a reason for that. They understand that I am a leader.
Can I make a comment?
All right.
Excuse me, if we could all just keep on the positive tone. I think this does bring up an important point, Yosef, that I do need to make. I do strongly feel, and many of the other parents I've spoken to have strongly feel that it is in the best interest of the school that the board have new trustees who are untainted by allegations of illegal and unethical conduct, such as discriminatory harassment and reckless disregard of blatant conflicts of interest. I raise this because you discussed accountability, and accountability is important.
Lynn,
And I really do think it would be...
We're doing questions and answers right now from the audience. So
yes, but you raised these issues, so it's about accountability, and I just wanted to follow
I'd
up.
like to move forward.
Well, there's a question presented to me, so I need to answer that, and I apologize. Okay. Natasha, you expect...
Let me just finish my statement then. I think it's best if we get a question.
You expect 50 new people to approve a budget in 2 weeks. They have no visibility, no knowledge what happens at the school. And this is your idea of good governance.
Yosef, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and
discuss
discuss any transitional matters.
To other members of the candidates, please. So I do have a couple questions that I'm going to take from the online, and I will read them word for word in the order that we received them. The first said, many saw the Patrice Taffin email. Can candidates please comment on whether they actually want to maintain the convention with the AFE and whether or not the bullying accusations were a planned design? Would anybody like to comment? Yes. Many saw the Patrice Taffin email. Can candidates please comment on whether they actually want to maintain the convention with the AFE and whether or not the bullying accusations were a planned design?
I'll start off and I'll take this one because I was actually one of the people that was mentioned in that email. I will tell you that before today, I had no knowledge of this email. I had never received it, had nothing to do with it. Most of these candidates, the people, the group of 15, I only announced my candidacy recently, as in within the past 2 weeks. I have only met some of these people within the last week. So obviously, I'm sorry, but that email is a complete fabrication, and that's all I have to say.
To follow up on it, to explain, and there's been a explanatory email from the moderator of the Yahoo group. Today, somebody committed identity fraud. Okay, go ahead. That'd be wonderful. But in answer to your question, someone committed identity fraud, posed as an imposter on the Yahoo Lycée Parents Forum, and fabricated a false email with the goal of character assassinating the independent candidates I endorsed. Not me, interestingly enough. I am an attorney. Let me be clear. This is horribly destructive for our school. It's illegal and unethical, and our students deserve better. Our students really deserve better. So I would ask everyone in the community to please, let's rise to the level that we expect of our students and stop this practice.
Hi, I'm Cecilia again. I am indeed the moderator of that forum. You didn't quote me. I said there is suspicions of, impersonation and fake email. We're looking into it. If it is true, there might be legal thing going on. I just want to make sure that forum is open to everybody. I am not responsible for what it is posted on that forum. Today I shut down the forum. I just gave an opportunity to the people that were mentioned in that email to have the right to respond. I know some people were against it and sent me personal email to tell me that I was like some kind of guru. I am not. I don't take part, and the idea behind that forum is that everybody could, have a voice here. It didn't work out, I'm sorry, but I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you, because I think you're very courageous, given the atmosphere in that school. And then, since I have the microphone, I have a question for Joseph. Joseph, you showed at the General Assembly true leadership. I was very impressed with your presentation, and I think, a lot of people were very impressed too. Now there is controversy that we heard that maybe we shouldn't all have, fresh trustees on that board. I want to hear from you what you can, why are you running again? And what you can, bring to that new board. Thanks.
Oh, okay. So here's why I'm running again. I did a small math in my head this week. In between April and December of this year, I probably spent close to 800 hours on board and school-related stuff. Probably 2/3 of them were just learning the issues that we have at the school. The notion that we need fresh new faces on the board, people that have no knowledge and no experience and no relationship to what had happened 5 minutes before they were elected, I dispute that. I don't think it's good practice. I mean, we have, for example, a budget that we're working on now, me and Ed, the treasurer. We're working on a 3-year budget, and we're working on a 3-year contract negotiation with the teachers parallelly, because we want to approve a budget at the beginning of January that will apply for 3 years. So everyone in this community has visibility and a knowledge that in 2 years this is what they're going to pay, and in 2 years this is what the salary increase that they're going to get. You tell me that we need now 50 new faces to go into this mix with no prior knowledge, no understanding of any of the issues, no understanding of any of the real estate issues that are pending, teachers' negotiations issues. We have other issues that we need to discuss and decide in a reasonable and professional manner what would be the budget. I dispute that. I think we need some continuity. We need some continuity. We had some great people on the board. I reached out to many people that were on the board and asked them to apply again and to be elected or try to get elected again, and everyone refuses. They refuse because you take the heat all the time. Oh, she's here. Sorry. That was a hard sell, though. And I failed with a bunch of them. You take a lot of heat, and, those people will be in the same position. But we have to create a culture that there's a transfer of the torch. We need a smaller board. I know I'm, moving aside, we need a smaller board, and we need probably 1/3 of the board to be replaced every year. That's common practice. That's best practices. And why is that? Because we want to maintain continuity.
I will also add one point, that under the nonprofit code, you cannot just leave. You can't, as the trustees, there absolutely has to remain at least one responsible. And that's when the corporation is winding down. Are we going to dissolve the school? Is that what's happening? No. The expectation is that the school is going to continue on for another 50 or 60 or God knows how long. But to bring in a completely new slate is indicative of a new organization, and that's not what we have. We don't have a baby. We've got a fully grown child, and we need to continue on to monitor it.
Okay. I feel like the 15 candidates have been assumed to be not able to lead, so I just wanted to reiterate. One of the reasons that we are here is because there's a lack of transparency. I'm a national media correspondent. I've covered hundreds of board meetings in Los Angeles and San Francisco. And one thing, they have live streaming of these meetings, and it doesn't take 2 boards to make it happen. or a question and answer service to make it happen. Or if they present financial statements about profits and losses, they're broken out so we know what's cash and what's an investment gain that might be subject to rise or fall. These things aren't brought out. I feel like that there's a whole lack of transparency, and that's the reason why a bunch of ordinary Joes came out here, not because we deign to know what happens with the school. I come from an independent school called Hotchkiss where alumni were on the board and also members of the community who were area professionals not affiliated with the school. That's the model of the board. And my wife jumped up on the stage and she said, "Je t'adore le lycée," because that's what she wanted. She wanted parents off the board and professionals on it. And I don't believe the professionals have run the board very well, and that's why we're trying to take transparency measures. Thank you very much.
I have just another point to add, which is about the capacities of the 21 other people up here. I have full faith in my fellow parents who are going to be elected that we can take on the challenge of leading the school. I like to share what Joseph said to me back in October. He invited me to join the board after the resignations, and I declined. But I'm here today because I care about the school. I care about how the community is going to be involved in the future. And thank you, Cécile, for being here to talk about the forum. There has, in my opinion, been an impersonation, and I have and some faking of emails, and I'll pass down for folks who haven't seen it. I also saw a version of this email today from an email that Joseph responded to from a former trustee about what's been published in the minutes. So there's another person here in the audience, if she'd care to address it, whose ex-husband's identity was stolen and used on the forum to disseminate misinformation about a number of people, including me. And I can tell you that the allegations that I am not in favor of having the IFO be involved in our school are absolutely false. I believe the Convention guarantees many things for our school. It is also negotiable. We have a challenge this year to work with the IFO to fill out the rest of the convention as the way it sees fit for our school. I am not against teachers. I think teachers should be paid as much as we can possibly pay them. And as Joseph pointed out, we all are going to be learning about the negotiation that's coming up. I applaud 3-year agreements so that neither the teachers nor the administration nor the board will have to go through a yearly exercise of renegotiating. I've heard rumors that some people think I want to fire all the teachers who are here because they have kids who get tuition remission. That is absolutely ridiculous. Tuition remission is a wonderful thing for many families in the school, whether they're teachers or not. I think it's got to be an important tool that we can use decisively for retaining lots of different families. So I regret that this information has been disinformed across the community.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to let Mr. Muhl answer this question, and then I think we're going to move on to the next question.
Thank you. Jean-François Mullet, I'd like to address the question that was posed to Joseph. And I'm going to try and strike the middle. I do believe it's important to have continuity in the school. In the teachers, our kids go to school because they have teachers they know they can recognize year after the other. And the teachers are really important in our school. It's important to have stability also in the administration. And I do agree with Joseph that it's important to have some continuity in the board. Where I disagree with you, and I'll be straight, is in your answer, you try to undermine some of the candidates here who have put some efforts in stepping up and say, hey, I believe I want to be part of a solution team, something fantastic that some of the teachers are doing in the school. They're creating solutions teams so our kids volunteer their time to solve problems in class. And so some of us are here because we've been putting a lot of efforts in our life, in our work, to be here. And I do believe that the budget, the big épée de classe that you put on top of us, has been crafted by a financial committee, right? And I believe there's continuity above and beyond the board members in the financial committee so that the new board members can be supported, endorse some of the proposals, open some debates on the parts of the budget that may still be questionable or have some uncertainty. And so I do believe it's important to have continuity. I do believe also it's important to have new faces.
I'll be very quick, I promise. I'm Caroline, by the way. I don't think Yosef's undermined, anyone's reputation or skill set here. I've never been part of the school board. I have, I think, the skill set to help. But when I see all that needs to be done in the next few months, and I'm sure you remember the slides that Yosef and the rest of the board showed last time, I would sure welcome a couple of people who've been working so hard, and for instance, real estate is certainly not my forte. And if Yosef spent 800 hours on that, I would love for him to be here as a newbie. That's all.
Great. So I just want to remind us that we have this question-answer forum for all of the candidates. I don't think this is a specific Q&A for Mr. Peretz. On that note, I do have an online question directed to you. But I do hope that everyone else has an opportunity to be able to speak tonight and talk about answer questions for our community. Question for Mr. Peretz. After leading the board that engaged in illegally voting bylaw changes, what makes you think that you are now qualified to return on the board? I just would like to say we are reading the questions that come out online, just to know that they're all being acknowledged. What specific changes do you want to make in the structure of the board, the reporting structure of the proviseur with respect to the board, and the AFE relationship? So I think that question is probably open to anyone. Repeat it, please. What specific changes do you want to make in the structure of the board, the reporting structure of the proviseur with respect to the board, and the AFE relationship?
Is it to me or to everyone?
I think it's open. It's not specifically geared to you. So would anybody like to?
So I don't know exactly what the new board will be able to do. I think it's a question that needs to be addressed with the whole community. But there is something, if I get elected, that I'm gonna work very hard to have is a code of conduct with consequences. Because it's key that we can work all together in a serene and peaceful environment. I mean, I don't want to comment on the email. I was in that email as well. It's really not something worth. I think we have challenges that we have to face and work on, and so this is something that I would like to change.
Code of conduct. The board, the trustees, the remaining 10, yes, did come up with a code of conduct. We had some discussion about it. And the main issue there is that it is difficult to enforce because it is uncertain as to who exactly would be then responsible for enforcement. Is it the head of school? Is it a task force? And what sort of evidence then would be brought forth? Is it a trial? Is it written testimony that's submitted and reviewed and 20 days later you get a response? I mean, you know, it's one thing to have a code of conduct, obviously. I mean, we have polite manners in society. Everybody understands them. If we put them down in paper, it's just a reiteration. But where is the teeth? And so how do you incorporate that into this society here at the school, for example? And I think this board, if I'm elected, or the other trustees, if they are, if they consider that issue, they're going to have a hard time when it comes to the actual implementation of it.
I tend to disagree. I actually think that there are many nonprofit boards where there is a code of conduct and there's rules of conduct, and if people act in ways that are not within the rules, they get either asked to be taken off the board or something else. But it's not uncommon, and I don't think it's that difficult. I'm sure we could look at many other schools and many other nonprofits and find a good set of rules to follow. And I actually think that's what's needed here. I think people have been going off in all these different directions for too long and not really kind of following a basic set of guidelines.
we have to find a way to restore civility and decorum to the board. We just have to. And there has to be a means by which an individual board member or a group of board members can't paralyze a board, can't paralyze the board. There has to be a way to do that, whether it's a code of conduct, whether it's a bylaw change, whether it's an ethics committee, which frankly I know that many bodies like this have. We need to find some way to do it, because otherwise we will continue this paralysis. We must be able to return civility to the discussions within the board, period.
Thank you. Can I just ask that we try to be very succinct with our answers? We have quite a few questions, and we have quite a few online,
Okay,
so
let
if
me
we
just
can
make
be
one
very quick.
point, and that is, I wasn't just referring to the board. I was referring to the community at large, that we need a code of conduct for the actual community. I mean, the board is obviously something different.
I'm Eric Moreau again. I want to get back to the root of the question, which is what would I change or not change if I were elected on the board. The reason I decided to step up is, to be honest, I and many of the parents I've talked to, we're sick and tired of the tyranny that's existing right now. And so the code of conduct I totally support as well. But what I'm really looking forward to is, and the reason why I stepped on the so-called slate, I think the only thing that we have in common on the slate is we want peace, we want unity, we want calm, we want rational, we want to be able to bring back stability to the board. The school is not where the problem is, it's been on the board. Of course, the board reflects the community, and clearly there are different opinions here, and every trustee should be listening to all these voices, but the board needs to work together to arrive at a solution and not allow the tyranny to continue. So really, what I would change is try to bring some order, not just within the board, but to provide the entire community an opportunity to be heard in a peaceful, quiet way, to feel like we're listening and that we're going to be working with them, and take away the entrenchment, the two camps or three camps, whatever they may be, and bring everybody back together, because that's what I think everybody wants. This is what I'm hearing from all the parents I've talked to.
Sorry, Julien, let me add one thing. I think one way we can help is to continue what Joseph started with the open board meetings. And I think somebody suggested maybe streaming. I think you realize that once your face is on video, people will be way, way better behaved. So I fully support that, and have parents in the room being able to attend board meetings, ask questions, right? This will really, really help.
My name is Bill Holtzman. I think we have a role model to look at, and that actually is Joseph. And the example is that when the first part of the board packed up and left, Joseph stepped in, formed a team, and there were 4 people on the executive committee, himself and 3 other people who ran against him. So Joseph reached out, tried to involve a much larger part of the board, as opposed to its predecessor, and get things going. The open meeting was a good example. I was there. It was a great meeting. It calms voices. When people are being watched, they tend to behave. So I think this is a role model to look at and to move forward, and then shift it from campus to campus. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'd like to start with a positive thing that I think everybody in the community here agrees that we have a great education, great teachers, and what I heard from the budget report is we're profitable last year. So let's acknowledge this. So I think the problems, yet we have many problems, there's emails today, etc. So I want to come back to that behavior problem, which I think is more with the parents and with the kids. What are we going to do? What are you going to do to avoid the clans, the partisanship, and echoing back the concern on the 15 slate? We have 23 candidates, 15 of which I said we're working together. In order to take good decisions, that means that the board elected will most likely have a majority of the 15 and a few of the others. Are you planning to meet independently to take decisions for the whole board? Because that would be called collusion. and since legality has been, that's certainly legal. And how are you going to work together? Because I don't feel that you are trying to really work together. How are you going to work together regardless of parties, clans, etc.? We don't care about this. We only care about the future and getting a great school that's already great to continue.
Okay, so I think your question was you've asked them how they're planning to work together, and I think that we've addressed that. Have members felt like they've addressed that?
Well, there was a specific accusation about folks that had the opportunity to already talk about things that they cared about together. And I can assure you, and we've said it already, there is no partisanship, there is no meeting separately. There's a dedication to, first of all, the students of the school, the teachers, and to absolutely having a zero tolerance policy for this type of misconduct, because that's what it is. I can tell you that I have a lot of experience working collaboratively with people who hold different opinions than I do. And nobody here who's stood up and said, I won't work with somebody else. We all want to work together, but we want to do so in an environment of respect.
Why are you doing a group?
Sorry, I just would like to add, the bottom line is the work of a board is to work together as a collaborative effort and to actually disagree, but to reach consensus in order to implement things. And the bottom line is a lot of work is going to get done outside of board meetings, where we will all be tasked with various subcommittees, task forces, whatever you want to call them. We will be meeting in groups together. We will be meeting with groups of parents when we solicit parents or teachers or administrators for their opinions and their help. And we will be acting as board members, as trustees, for the greater good of the overarching board. We will then be tasked with reporting back any findings and discussions to the rest of the entire board. Decisions are not going to be made at smaller group levels. Decisions are meant to be made at the greater group of the total of 17 people. That is the goal, and that is how I operate on any board that I've worked on. No board can meet all together to be able to sit and get every single thing done. It is just not possible with everybody else working, as well as with the different schedules and going to kids' soccer games or tennis matches or musical performances. It's just not feasible. So therefore, it is incredibly important that we all take a moment and we recognize our strengths and our weaknesses. We volunteer to be part of various committees where we take advantage of those strengths, and then we bring them back to when we have board meetings so that we can be incredibly effective and efficient when we have those meetings.
Your question, unfortunately, presupposes that 15 people who endorse one another because they have similar views can't act in good faith with other people who may be elected on the board. I just don't accept that premise. I don't accept that premise. I'm certainly intending to work together with whoever is elected to this board in good faith for the good of the school. That's why I'm running.
So I think the aspect to internalize that's really important, this is a hard job. Everybody knows that, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you?
Just because.
Okay. I'll be quick, I promise. This is a hard job. This isn't easy, and this is on top of everything else people have going on in their lives. All these people, right? We're here tonight because we are willing. We are willing to roll up our sleeves. We are willing to stay the course. We are willing to make the investment, to do what it takes to get things back on track, to keep our school running, to make sure that our school is the best school, continues to be the best school possible.
Hi, I will talk. So I'm an independent candidate On the Monday morning, no, Tuesday afternoon, I saw 15 independent candidates all together. And I was like, I'm an independent candidate all by myself. And there are 15 candidates, independent all together. What I'm going to do? It was really stressful and really frightening. So I called one of the candidates of the 15 because I knew him. And I said, "Whoa, what's going on? You're what? You're a group or you're independent or what?" So I had some answers to my question. So I was not to the meetings, but I understand it was a tool. It was more like a tool to allow the maximum of people to be candidates because it's difficult to be a candidate. It's really, really difficult. It's challenging. It's frightening. It's everything you can imagine with the context. So obviously, people work to find candidates. And I think it's a good thing. Otherwise, we will maybe have half of the people here. So I think it's a good thing there was a help to bring 15 people. What I don't like is that at the end, those people were really saying they support each other. And that was excluding, for example, me. So I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable. But then so I sent email, and so now I'm kind of the 16 or something. I'm not sure exactly what I am, but so I would be happy to work with everybody here, obviously, because only me. And the other thing, I don't talk too much, as you could notice. So if we are 18 or 15, I am not going to make a mess because I don't talk. I'm more listening. I'm involved in finance. I am a French degree, a CPA, French CPA degree. So this is the second point. I will be working on the budget. And when I hear Youssef saying that he spent 800 hours, or maybe not only on the budget, but I assume a considerable number of hours on the budget, it's true that if I start from scratch, it's going to be very tough. So, yeah, just a thought. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Poulazon, and I have 2 kids at the Lycée at Ortega. And my question is to everyone who would like to run for the board. I haven't heard anything specific. I hear you're going to go out into the community and hear what they say. I don't know how that happens. How does that specifically happen? Are you going to have people voting? Are you going to take polls? Is that the idea? And what purpose is that? It seems to me that we need facts, we need organization. I've worked in industry for 27 years or something like that, and I've never seen such an inefficient group of people in my life. And I don't know if I had to put money in a company that was run by all of you, I wouldn't do it. I mean, there's no efficiency. I mean, I work with Lean and Six Sigma, and you nail it. You go down the line, and you say what you need to do, and you do it, and you find solutions. And I know how to build consensus, and I don't know if all of you know how to do that. I haven't seen any specific examples of how you're going to resolve conflict, only that you will work with each other, and you're going to roll your sleeves up. I don't know what that means. That's it. How? How are you going to do that? Give me examples. Anyone up there, give me an example, an agenda, a specific bullet-pointed, timelined agenda.
There are some people who don't have the time to run for board who are experts in real estate. One of them is named Michael, a wonderful parent in the Sausalito campus. He would love to lend his expertise to our real estate problems. I know that Stella has mentioned that you had to work in isolation on this question. And during the open board meeting, I believe that my impression of your remarks is that you worked very, very hard on the issue, but you found that you didn't have much help. And I feel that one of the things we can do is we can make stronger committees. We can draw upon assets that within our parent community as part of committees that involve board members and experts like yourself. Like, honestly, that's how things get happen. Sausalito is a question of governance. We need somebody with knowledge of governance like myself or Jaime, the public relations, to help us meet with these people who are landlord and our tenant. It's a situation that we can solve only together with marshaling all the assets that we have together. That's how we.
Thank you. I'm going to say that for the sake of time, that Every candidate has put their statements on the portal, which you can read. It has a lot of what the changes they want, their agenda. So if anybody has anything specific they want to add very quickly, otherwise we'll move on to the next question.
I just want to say that none of this is rocket science. You're absolutely right. The 23 of us, we probably all have a little bit of a screw loose to be up here. But in terms of running a board, a nonprofit board, and engaging with the community, it's all about just being a human and talking to people and communicating. And there is no magic bullet to it. It's just being open-minded. And I think that's what people are trying to express here. Everyone, all 23 of us.
Thank you. Can we keep the questions? Because I've got it.
Hi. I just wanted to say that the latest GA, the board presented, I think everyone remembers those, the slides. And as far as I'm concerned, they look like a really good agenda to start with the work laid out for the next 3 months and 6 months. So as far as what we need to do, it's there. How we're going to do it is going to depend on who gets elected and how we're going to work together. And for me, it's as very simple as that.
Just many of us have our individual professional skills, and we didn't give you our resumes. But for example, I have a lot of experience in legal work. I was a corporate paralegal before law school, so I'm very familiar with governance documents and founded many of the small internet companies. I'm familiar with civil litigation, commercial disputes, conflicts of interest, and would be able to look at all of those legal issues and also address the bylaw situation. Much work has been done by the community. There's been work like the task forces, and it's important to look for resources not only in terms of people that now want to volunteer their time and help more, but a lot of work has been done, and you want to leverage that work. Take a look at what people have done so far. I'm very in touch with many other good lawyers within the school community. To the extent that we need specific expertise, we can reach out to them. Many other people on this board have individual expertise in their area. And if you want, perhaps others could stand up and say what their expertise is.
We're going to move on. Like I said, please, I would hope that everybody takes a look on the portal and views everyone's statements and the videos, and we'll move on to some questions.
Thank you, LinkedIn. My question is actually for Brandon. Your wife resigned in a protest from the previous board, and you run the Dad's Club. And we accuse some of the old members to have a new clean slate and not to run again. Would you say that you have a conflict of interest and not your wife run and then now trying to also run for the board? And do you have any? Because a question was asked to have a clean new board.
Well, thank you for that. Excuse me. First off, any questions you have about my wife, you'd have to ask her about her time on the board.
I said your wife was on the board.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I don't think it presents a conflict of interest. We've been at the school here for 8 years. One of the things that has really sort of impressed me about this school is the community, and the fact that we have great parents, we have great teachers. Obviously, we're all here for our kids. And I think that my involvement in the Dad's Club has been an example of people coming together for the greater good. We have all different types of people who've been in the Dad's Club who have contributed time, money, energy to try to make the community a better place. I will tell you that one of the main reasons why I'm running is because I think what's happened here is that this chasm has sort of been driven down the middle of this school. And you're either on one side of the chasm or you're on the other. And if you don't pick a side, then a side will be ascribed to you. So you're either for the kids or you're for the teachers, but God knows you can't be for both, right? I think what this comes down to is that we are all on the same side. We all want a healthy environment for our kids. We all want our teachers to be happy. We know that we're not always going to agree on everything. Part of disagreeing is part of the process. But at the end of the day, we should all be able to come together and still go to each other's kids' birthday parties and still get along and still be able to shake each other's hand and have a vibrant and healthy community. So I don't know if that answers your question. If you feel it's a conflict of interest, I don't think it is. I don't know if budgets and barbecues conflict with one another, but that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So hopefully that answers your question.
My question is for anyone on the stage. We have lost a lot of families because of tuition raise these past few years. I was wondering what, as board members, what is your plan to address the raise in tuition in the coming years? And what strategies do you have to reduce attrition because of the tuition raise?
Hi, Rob Weir. Just one suggestion on that front, and it's one that I don't think we've spoken much about at the Lycée, is fundraising, and we've actually just let go our head of fundraising. I think maybe that's the reason we're not talking about it much, but we allocate about $700,000 of the school's tuition every year to just give straight back to folks who need financial aid. We also coincidentally raise about $700,000 a year from the annual fund, which is for other activities which would otherwise be funded through basic tuition. So I think that's a focus that we, as the board, whoever it's going to be, need to take on our mantle going forward, which is to reach out to those who can afford and help subsidize increasing that number of 700,000. We also have another 700,000 number is the endowment that the school has, which is embarrassingly low given the size of our student population and legacy that we have here. And I think that's a great way that the 15, 17, whatever the number is going to be for the board, they can reach out to the community and engage in a constructive dialogue about how to raise financial aid as one way to deal with that.
So the questions on spending and budgets, and I think a great place to start is the legal budget. We have a propensity to hire lawyers left, right, and center. And there have been 2 occasions where one letter to the board complaining about something then required hiring lawyers. And just to be specific on last year's fiscal budget, the budget for legal affairs started at $28,000 and it ended up at $260,000. So the first thing you do is you take control over those budgetary affairs. That's about a third of our tuition increase last year. The other part of it is the mismanagement of Sausalito, specifically the ADA requirements, the Americans with Disability Act. Last year they set aside $800,000. Did anybody know that that money existed? That they had set that money aside from 2.5 years before? No. That's because the books are opaque, and you have to dig and dig and dig to get those answers. The board this year is now holding back $600,000. So that's money that could have stopped last year's tuition increase. Do the math. The board needs to exert its financial control in general, and then specifically with the administration. When someone says, I want to spend $50,000 on lawyers, you have to say no.
I just want to add on Bill's point about expenditures in Sausalito. So the prior board's decision to carry out that lease negotiation was not really to the school's benefit. We've dumped upwards of $7 million and we still don't own the property. In addition, we didn't negotiate properly so that we would avoid ADA responsibilities, so we are still responsible for dealing with that. We have $600,000 an allocation for it, but of course I don't want to use a penny of it, but they have us over a barrel. So we have to deal with the cards that we were dealt, and hopefully those same bad decisions won't be carried forward, but we are in Sausalito for the next 20 years.
Bill mentioned the legal spend budget. I think it was either in the November 5th or the November 12th minutes, which were just published on the parent portal. They passed a motion, the current board, to install a legal spend limit, which sounds like a good idea. In terms of Sausalito, and I have a familial attachment because I'm also a graduate of the Marin County French School, which is the precursor to the Sausalito campus. I think that Rob raises an excellent point, which is we can always strengthen our fundraising. As an alumna, I have built a very burgeoning network of former students who are around the world and certainly in the Bay Area who could either contribute financially or contribute their wisdom and expertise as advisors to the school. And I think that I've been invited by Melanie, who I met about 10 days ago, to join the marketing meetings that are happening on Sunday mornings for the Sausalito campus to help build up retention and bring new families into the school. So there's definitely action items that we can help on, whether we're board members or not, in terms of helping out that campus.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Isabelle first, maybe. Okay.
Merci. About the tuitions, I will answer. I agree with you. For me, it's too expensive. The tuitions increased for the last 4-5 years a lot because I think I understood that before that, for the previous year, it didn't increase enough. So it was kind of un rattrapage, getting un rattrapage. Débrouillez-vous avec ça. So I think it will be possible to not to increase too much the tuition or maybe the rate of inflation. Because what happened for the last 2 years is that we lost students, so we lost incomes. So I think if we have a great board with people that are happy to work together and want to do projects together, then the confidence, the trust will come back. Then we will have more students. And if we have more students, we have more income. Then there is no need to increase the tuition. So I think this is really, really important. We really need to increase the number of students. This is the first priority. And this could be possible if we have a school that works perfectly. And then the second point is the fundraising. And I think one day we will be able to have some fundraising. I don't know how. It's not my part. So.
Thank you. I'm going to say we have 9 people with questions, and we have about 30 minutes. So let's just be very.
Myself. I'm sorry.
Can I, please?
I know. I just want to excuse myself. I have to leave for the evening.
Okay.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah, to the budget you mentioned and to the high cost of legal action, I think if the board would have been working better with the administration, there would be less legal action, so that would be a cost reduction. You mentioned we lost 40 kids. 40 kids, it's $800,000. That is what we lost. So that's also why the tuition were raised for the operations. So how can we solve that? There's Sausalito for sure. Sausalito should run at full, and I think we're close to that. Maybe that should be discounted in tuition to make it full. Functional board, so less legal action, and marketing action also to make the school more attractive. I don't know if you're aware what is happening here in Ortega for 2 days. Anton Ritsu is a teacher, robotics, and he's been running a program for 5 years. And it is so successful that the AEFE in French, asked him to train all the teachers in North America, so math teachers and techniques teacher, and our kids are training them. And our kids love it. They learn software, robotics, 3D printing, and so I think that makes the school very attractive. So I think we also need to make people come. So we need to solve our own internal issues, and then we can get people to come.
I wanted to answer the question in a different way. I think we heard some great answers. On the one hand, we need to increase the fundraising, get more inflow. On the other hand, and Bill, I think, summarized it very well, we need to look at where our expenditures are going and put a clamp on especially the legal fees, right? This is looking at the answer from a macro level for the school. What I understood from your question, and maybe I misunderstood you, was there are families and kids leaving the school because their parents cannot pay the level of tuition, let alone any increase. So my answer to that is I'm a data-driven person, and I care mostly about the kids leaving the school. And I would love, if I'm elected, to be able to go back and see who's left the school, what are the true reasons for them leaving, and moving forward in the next 6 to 9 months, look at the families that are in difficulty and try and determine if we can help them as a community and as a school.
Okay. Yeah. I have a question for Hallie. Actually, it concerns 2 points. One, I and a few other parents received an email from you on November 3rd with some very confidential information about school personnel and board matters. And I know that last year, an Ashbury parent, Olivier Bonin, also as a room parent and conseil d'établissement parent, wrote an email to some parents, and his child was threatened with expulsion from the school. Yes. So there seems to me like different rules applies to different parents at the school, because here you are running for the board, whereas Olivier Bonin's child was threatened with expulsion unless he resigns as conseil d'établissement. So I am nervous about your true ability to represent all the parents, all the interests of all the parents of the school. The second point is that I'm getting to it, sorry. So the second point is that I understand that your company, according to your website, has the Lycée as a client, and that to me might present a conflict of interest should you be elected to the board. You are a room parent, a conseil d'établissement parent, an employer of the school, and perhaps a board member. To me, that is too much power concentrated in one individual. And my question is, will you please withdraw from running for the board? Thank you.
So I think we heard that question, but also there was a question about, do you feel there's a conflict of interest? If you just want
Thank
to
you,
address
Shelley,
that.
for your question. We're in the same class again this year, so I'm not sure which exactly, if you could, which email. I send a lot of emails because I'm very involved in the school. My new company is called Lingo and Logo, and my partner is someone I've worked with as a volunteer for the school, and she has been employed by the school. I'm not employed by the school. The school's not my client. I'm a volunteer. Maybe you saw my article in the Finanfo this week about the girls' soccer team that went to Quebec last year. This is a super fun article to write and research, and I think it was Mary was talking earlier about Mary Poulazon's daughter was on that team, and it was really exciting to talk to Julien Pignol, and Pauline Legendre about what went on. So no, I don't have a conflict of interest. I'm not being paid by the school. I'm not going to withdraw as a board candidate because I feel like this is the next logical step in my experience at the school as a volunteer. I am an extreme sports volunteer, and all the people up here are stepping up to help lead the school into the next 50 years. Our 50-year anniversary is coming up in 2017. I'm super excited about that, and I hope that you all will be too.
Hi, I'm Krista Krylov. I have 3 children here at the Lycée and been a Lycée parent for almost 12 years. First of all, thank you so much for running. And I, for one, don't doubt that all of you have honest motives and professional experience that would be useful to the board, okay? So that's not why I'm asking a question. I have 2 questions, actually, so bear with me. The first is about clicks. So we're here today so that we don't forget because something very important happened. The April elections, a board was elected, and now it's December, and they were not successful. So we have to, my question would be for all of you, like, the first question is, what do we learn from those mistakes? So I myself was a candidate in the April election, and I ran on a slate called SF Lycée Parents. And some of you I recognize were on another slate called For Our Kids. So after that experience, I personally learned, like from history, that running on a slate is a bad idea. And I found that now in this election, I'm just warning you, I'm only going to vote for independent candidates because, and I'll tell you why, because I feel that was the root of why the old board didn't succeed in the April election, was because that board was, once you're on a slate, like someone pointed out, there's only so many spots. There will forcefully be independent candidates mixing with slate candidates, and there will be cliques. And so I'm really concerned about that behavior going on at the board. So I'm wondering if you will address that behavior, and then I have a second question.
I'll address that behavior just because I reached out to Isabelle Carmont, who I know from being a former parent at Ashbury when she was there. I've been in conversations with Rob Weir, another independent candidate, for the last couple of weeks. We've met at, actually we were all together at the event at Judith Brass's house about the planned giving initiative from the Development Advancement Department. And he's not here tonight, but Frédéric Gaume is also has a child in my class. And I introduced all three of those guys to each other this morning in hopes that I could actually introduce them to be together at school. I did it by email, and both Isabelle and Frédéric reached back out and said, thank you. So I think it's entirely possible.
So you think that this is enough to make sure you're successful when the previous board did that?
This is the first step. It's the first step. I just learned they were candidates. As Isabel said, she decided 2 days ago.
I just want to hear what you're going to do better, because it doesn't sound very convincing from what the old board was trying to do. I don't think anyone on the old slate was trying to had dishonest intentions. I just think you have to set the tone. So independency shows that I'm not affiliated with anyone, and I will be an honest board representative.
I'll say it one more time. I think people have read it, and my statement and other folks' statements. Our shared values are
well. So
okay.
Tell you that many of us have just met each other within the last week, and that's my case. And I had this concern. I was very turned off myself. I can tell you that I voted for your side last time. It was because individual people appealed to me. And I think that this has been like a last ditch. Hey, are you interested in running? I don't know. I've got this going on in my life. Maybe, but what skills can you bring? This has just been a just happened kind of thing for many of us. In fact, there's a couple of people I just met tonight. So at least I have an understanding for your concern. I agree that you cannot have this type of division. And I think that there might be some misunderstanding in terms of the entrenchedness or even how much people know each other. So it is a valid concern, though. Thank you.
Just a point. Whatever you call yourself, slate, party, gang, friends, whatever. I think everybody has good intentions. I don't think there's anything negative really to point to. But I will give you a negative example, and that is For Our Kids. For Our Kids ran against the slate that I was run against. And they won handily. So at the first board meeting, what happened? The president, the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, all from that group. Every single committee chairman from that group. That's how you feed factionalism. That's how the minority begins to rebel, whether it's right or not. That's how it begins to happen. So I think whoever wins this election, reach out to a whole variety of people. Don't just choose your friends. Don't just choose your slate. And if you do that, I think we'll have a much better result.
So, we don't know, I don't know everybody here. Some people I volunteer with at the Dad's Club. Some people I volunteer as a room parents. I don't know them before I start to be volunteer, but we work together. And I don't think there's going to be something different. We all going to step up. We're going to meet after the first election when the board's going to be nominated, and we're going to try to work together. I don't think it's a clique. I don't know Joseph. I know that he worked a lot at the board, and I think he's truthful when he says he worked a lot. And I think we all want to step up and help. And I think we're all going to work together. And I think also looking at the past board, there was people that were very disruptive in the past board that stayed from the past time, and I think that didn't help. So I think at least lots of new people would help. And less disruptive people on the board would help.
Short answer. I share your concern, and that's why I ran as an independent. I think it's a lot of the drama that we've had leading up to the discussion tonight has been different groups attacking or perceived attacks, and I don't want to be a part of any of that.
Hi. As you know, I was with 4 kids. I haven't met all the people from the 15 group before tonight. I can tell you it's very different. The second thing I want to tell you is, you can trust me or not trust me, but facts is what matters, right? I'm working right now with Joseph, and obviously we don't agree on everything. But together we are pushing for the marketing group with a focus on Socialito, and we can handle that together. And yes, he asked me to come at 8 a.m. on Sunday. And Sunday is my specific day with my kids sailing, and I came because I care and because I know that we can make it if we work together. So, whatever party, group, is he my friend? No, he's not my friend yet. I don't know, right? Will we be more than friends? We don't know. But, okay, just kidding. We're not here to be friends. We're here to work together and execute. And if we have to come on Sunday morning at 8 a.m., I will do it again, and I'm happy to do it because we deliver and we have things ongoing. We have an event, and we are all invited. On the 11th of December, we're doing a holiday gathering. Winter. But hopefully I didn't say Christmas, but it's... anyway, you can come to Socialito. We have food, we have vendors, and we did it all together. And reasonable people can work together.
Okay, this is a quick question directly from Martina. I believe that's you, right? So we have never met before, but your husband ran on the 4-hour. On April 9th, you sent me and my candidate colleagues an email telling us profanities, telling us to F off, and calling us effing idiots, and telling us you want to puke. And now I'm hearing a lot of the candidates here on the stage tonight saying how important civil behavior is, how important a code of conduct is, and I would like to ask you to resign.
So let me address both points. I would love to see that email because I sent no such email at all. So please, by all means, if you have it, furnish it.
And
F you, do you think I'm effing stupid or something like that?
Okay,
I think she's addressing your question. Thank you, Krista.
I own my actions. I was asked about the email earlier this evening, the email that's been doctored. I have no idea the provenance of this email. There's no reason I would have had to have sent an email to you or anybody on that panel. I'm tired of the rumors. We're all tired of the rumors. We're tired of the fabricated emails. We're tired of all of this. It's printed on a piece of paper. Okay, you show me the forensics that actually shows the fingerprint that traces it back to my account. Fine, we'll talk. But until then, this is all
not an
moot.
investigation. I think she's answering your question, and please let her answer your question.
So, to the second question, no, I will not withdraw my candidacy. I've said this before. I'm not a bully. I think most people that know me know I'm not a bully. I am truthful. I'm honest. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes people don't like to hear it as it is. Sorry. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to tell it like it is. But I'm also willing to work, I said this before, I'm also willing to roll up my sleeves and work hard. Again, I'll say it again. This isn't an easy job. My day-to-day job isn't easy. I'm willing to do what it takes to fix things, to help, to be part of the coalition, to work across the aisles, to work with people like Joseph, to work with people like Stella, to work with, whoever else gets elected. End of story.
Thank you.
Bonsoir. Hello. I will try to do it in English, even if it's not my best way to talk. Krista, stay here, please. Please. I don't know exactly why family left us before. It can be many reasons. I know why now they want to leave, because they are fed up with all this rumor, conflict, and disinformation and abuse of identity of people. I don't know who is that Patrick Godin. Is someone know Patrick Godin in this room? There will be a question for you. You know Patrick Godin. Who is Patrick Godin? We need to know that, because there was a lot of information and misinformation against all of us on a group. And we need to know who it is, Patrick Godin. I want to know. I want to give you, please, it's 2 minutes. I think everybody, and I will ask the question.
To the board. Are you asking a question to the candidates?
And I will ask the question to the board. Yes. But we need to know who is Patrick Godin. Because if someone is behind this, on this stage, I want to know. I want to know if someone is Patrick Godin on this stage.
Okay.
Is there someone Patrick Godin on this stage? I want to know that.
So I think some of you are familiar with the Yahoo forum that Cecile mentioned has been disabled for the moment. The person that Frédéric is referring to is one of my partners at the Conseil d'établissement. She's also a mother in my child's grade. This is Valérie Saint-Agathe, and her ex-husband is named Patrick Godin. And unfortunately, his identity was usurped. And for the last month, someone using his identity has been posting on the Lycée forum with screeds and misinformation.
Let's allow her just a couple minutes.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting to talk. Yes, Patrick Godin is the father of one of my child. He's living in France. And so 2 days ago, we discovered that there were emails in this Yahoo group signed by him. So I asked him. And so he had been in connection with the person who is in charge of the Yahoo group. And this is his answer. I'm going to say it in French because he doesn't speak that much of English, so he wouldn't be able to write those emails that you found. This is his answer in French. Je vous confirme que je n'ai jamais créé d'adresse Yahoo. Aussi, je ne connais personne à San Francisco susceptible d'usurper mon identité. Et a priori, mes noms et prénoms n'y ont circulé que dans l'enceinte administrative du lycée. Merci d'utiliser tous les moyens à votre disposition pour faire cesser cette fraude et sachez que je m'associerai à d'éventuelles démarches de recours et ou dépôt de plainte. I just want to say, at one point, I don't want to tell anybody what to do and how to act, but we have an opportunity here to just stop that. I mean, stop reading those emails. They are just insulting. It's scary because that means that anybody can just use your name, sign with your name, each of you. He's living in France. He doesn't know anybody here, and his name is here. It's scary. It is. So we need to stop. If we need to ask questions, we have this meeting. We have those people who have the courage to just come back in such a situation, and really thank you. And so we need to just talk to each other. That's it. Stop those emails and insulting everybody. Let's work. That's all we need. And so I can't talk for him. He's not here. I don't feel legitimate for that. I'm just saying that we just need to work on the school and the program. And that's it. Stop those cliques and all that.
So my question was related, how you will work on the community. Because right now, for me, there's an issue on the board, but there's many issues in the community, inside many instances right now, to be able to work together, to involve in our school. And Krista and I are an example. We don't agree all the time. We kind of disagree every single day, and every single day we are able to talk to each other. So I ask you all, how you will work on the community, because we really need that. Thank you.
So I think some of the ideas were mentioned, like open board meetings can help, but I think also that board members kind of step up and go out of the board meetings and basically go in the community. I've been a room parent for 2 years, and very, very rarely do I see them show up. Very rarely I see Philippe Legendre show up. So I think there is a big problem of communicating within the school, and I think hopefully if I'm elected as a board member, I would try to attend room parents meetings. So if questions get funneled up, we can get them back up very quickly and try to communicate any concern from the community. I think we need to communicate better. We need to reach out a lot more. I think in today's age of technology, we've seen that emails are very easy to send. I think it's a shame that we can't communicate and that minutes take forever to be published.
So yes, this is exactly what many of us have decided to do, is to stop looking back at the disputes and try to move forward and to encourage everybody, just that, like you just did, to stop this. We need to all get together. We need to all regroup and unite. Yes, we have different ideas and different opinions. We want to listen to them and try to work towards a common solution that addresses everybody's needs as best as possible. You know that's impossible, but at least we can try. But please stop all this horror. We just need to be positive and move forward.
Frederic, someone else asked a question about action items and brand marketing. So there something happens and to immediately and to restore the community and bring people together.
Relationship, homologué or non-homologué? With the AEFE. Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, so are you for convention relationship with the AEFE? Convention. Yes. So, yes. Okay. Please stand up if you support a convention relationship with AEFE. Okay, noted. That's everyone. Thank you.
Hi. I'll do my best. My name is Aaron Fraser, and I was on the board from 2008 to 2012. One of the things I found when I was on the board is you had to relate to not just the people on the board, but the people, the parents in the community, as well as the teachers. And I read all 23 statements, and it wasn't a lot of work, but it was some. And one thing I noticed is that the slate of 15, they seem to have the same 3 points, not really having any independence of thought within their statements. But one thing was glaringly missing, in my opinion. Not one of them, in their statements, their written statements, mentioned any support for the teachers. Please, if I'm wrong, maybe there's one or two I missed, but by and large, 14 or 15 of you did not have any written support in your statements. Please stand up. Please stand up if you have written support in your statements for your teachers. No. If it's in your statement that you actually supported it. No, that's not the question I asked. Can I ask the question, please?
The question is saying, if you have a written statement saying that you support the teachers, that is your question.
Did
Yes.
you actually put it in your statement?
Okay.
Did you feel it was important enough? Show us.
I'll print it.
I am here for my daughter. I love her teachers. That's why I'm here. And I would ask anybody else, please, if you are here for your children's teachers, please stand.
So
that's not the question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We did ask you if they had included a written statement that they support the teachers in their.
No. Can I answer the question,
I will say
please?
that the answers are on the website right now. You can go there.
Can I answer the question? I've got a math mind. You made a postulat, which is nobody in their written statements of the 15 slate, or what you call slate, you made this assertion that nobody did in writing say anything about supporting the teachers. So in math, you need just one counter example. I will print it. I will send it to your personal address. And by the way, I'm not just an email guy. I can spend some time with you. My first email last night was to Claude and Valérie Nederovic. Valérie is just behind you. You can say that. And so go read my statement. More importantly, listen to my video. The first 20 precious seconds is to address the whole community, including the teachers of Sausalito, Ortega, and Ashbury. CQFD, on dit en français. CQFD, ce qu'il fallait démontrer.
I think they answered your question, didn't they? Yes.
My point is that they didn't actually put it in their statement.
Some of them have. They said they have.
Who said
and
that they actually did put it in their statements? Please raise your hand. 3 people.
Can I say something? Can I say something? It is time. It is long past time that we unite, that we stop this, and we unite behind the same purpose that unites our children, which is to preserve and strengthen this institution. It is time.
Okay, I'm going to say we're at the 10-minute warning. I think you need to turn the mic on. We have 10 minutes left, and I think that we're going to go through Valerie and, I'm sorry, Fatima. Yes, okay.
Hi, my name is Marta again. Recently, at several different meetings, one at Ashbury that Brandon had called, and another, I don't remember where, but people were asked to stand up if they had contemplated or were in the process of looking at leaving the school. There seemed to be, a lot of people are leaving the school kind of rhetoric. And so some of you that had, I think quite a few of you, had said you are leaving, you're looking, you're so concerned. So I guess I'm wondering, I was surprised to see you then running, because are we to assume that your commitment to French education is tied to the composition of the board? That didn't add up for me personally, or did you have a change of heart and you decide this is the school for you? Or, yeah, it seems that it would be, if the composition of the board suits you, then you might be interested in staying.
That's super short-sighted of you to say those things. Like, the reason why let me answer, please. Okay. The reason why people, I think, stand up is that they're fed up. They see their friend leave the school. I see a lot of family, like, having very tough time, seeing those emails, seeing those accusations all the time, seeing teacher, like, I was talking to a couple of teachers in the afternoon. They all felt terrible about the anonymous email that was the wrong email that was sent today. A lot of people are feeling very bad. I think it's a natural thing to at some point say, like, to step back and say, like, either we fix it or we move on. Like, and we are saying we all step up and say we try to fix this. Like, we try to step as a community and fix it. And I mean, at least that's where I stand. I'm a volunteer at the school. I can't see my community being ripped apart like this. Like, that just makes no sense to me. I mean, it's childish.
A misstatement to say many of us are said we're leaving. I mean, I'm not even considering another school. Both my kids, the littlest one is hopefully coming next year. I've been clear about that. If anybody else wants to comment, they can. But please, if you ask a question, it's about peace building. I'm going to try to exemplify the best conduct, and I ask everybody else to ask the question. Just don't presume, because it insults us.
Okay, I agree. That's why I'm asking the question, though. It has to be answered. I mean, you're thinking of leaving the school, and now you want to be on the board. So is your commitment tied to the composition? It makes sense to me, but that's fine.
So the bottom line is my commitment to the school is for the pedagogical success of the school. And Aaron, as I wrote, as a trustee, my first priority is to ensure that our pedagogical excellence continues. If that is not an endorsement of our teachers and the education they provide, I don't know what is. And therefore, the reason I am up here is because my daughter is here in the high school. She is a 9th grader. She's going to graduate with a baccalaureate, and we are committed to see her through it. She is following in her father's footsteps. And therefore, I want to see this school succeed. It has nothing to do with the makeup of the composition of the board. It has everything to do with my children and everyone else's child that is here today. That is my goal, and that's why I'm here. The first and foremost is pedagogical excellence, and how do we continue to have that?
I would just say it was my meeting that you came to, and I'm the one who posed the question. I know it's been raised several different times by people. One is daughter in 3rd grade and one in 1st grade, and I will tell you that every year we think and evaluate if this school is the right fit for our children. And we do it for many different reasons. We do it is it the right curriculum? Is it a good fit for them? Are they thriving here? Is there a better place for them? There's many different reasons why you evaluate the school you put your children in, okay? A lot of people decide at some point that they, say, look, I've had enough of this particular education. I want to go to a different format, maybe a different curriculum. And they do that for various reasons, okay? So it's been brought up. I've had parents who've approached me saying, I've had it with this. I've had it with all these emails and the infighting. I don't want any part of this. I'm leaving the school. And I know that a lot of people that are on the stage right now are stepping up and being part of this process and committing to this school because we're trying to restore some confidence in what it is we're trying to do here. So to answer your question, I think we all at some point evaluate if the educational system we have our children in is a right fit. I think it's natural as parents. But to answer your question, I personally have no intention of leaving. So.
And I wanted to add that my family doesn't want to leave either. We go from the Mission District all the way to Sausalito. We commit the miles to get there. And really, to address the question of community, we don't have a farm team to build our community in an alumni association that I know of that we could find more Halle Caballos in the future. Really, it's a shame that we have one alumni candidate among all of us. There's got to be young professionals in this community that we can groom to be on our board and to help us keep our sense of community. Because I'm sure that having someone who went all the way through the system didn't come all that way to sit here in front of all us to see us screw around and point fingers. Because, like I said, that's how fine independent schools operate with strong alumni. So I feel like the community question is very important. The parent association and some sort of more robust alumni association I think would help this school. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laure Anastasia. I'm a mother of moyenne section. And I'm wondering if you would consider, when you're board members, to hire a mediator if anything was to come up, because you've been asked so many times, like, what would you do if you don't agree, if you disagree? And I'm like, well, how about a solution? So how about a mediator? Would that be a good solution for the board?
That's an excellent question. Thank you. As a matter of fact, we were just talking about it. I'm an architect, and when my firm merged with the firm that I currently run, there were a lot of strong-headed owners, and we ended up hiring a mediator. Actually, it was a psychologist that specializes in conflict resolution between owners. In our case, it was the board. And it was fantastic. I mean, all the issues were worked out so well. He was very good. And we were just talking about it a few hours ago, that should we find, and again, this is the key message here for all of us, is we really want to move forward towards getting along better. We understand it's going to be sometimes difficult, but we're not interested in parties or taking sides. It really needs to be resolved. So if we need a mediator or a counselor to assist the board, absolutely, yes.
I agree as well. I think that's a great idea, and especially since we'll have, I think, 13 of the 15 at least will be brand new to the board. I think having someone, whether it's a mediator or counsel or someone, walk the board through their fiduciary obligations and make sure that the first several sessions follow parliamentary procedure and get off the right track. I think it's a great idea.
Just on this, you may know the program Vivre Ensemble à Ashbury. We did for our kids things we've not done in the board. So conflict and issues not resolved and ghosted. There is a way, and I think we need a mediator. We did a super great program. I don't know if it's implemented in Socialito. It is? And okay. So yeah, definitely we need to add this because we need to stop that type of conflicts.
I want to just address the question because I have a specific answer to that. When we were elected last time in April, we did go on a retreat and we did hire or engaged a mediator to spend a day with us. All went fine during that day and all went fine for a couple of months, and then the relationship started to deteriorate. So I do believe in mediation. I do believe in having someone from the outside help the board work out differences, but ultimately it's a question of leadership. It's a question of personal responsibility. It's a question of reaching out to each and every one from different groups in this community. And we just have to do that. And I think, when I was, at least for the 6-7 weeks that I was the board president, I made an effort to reach out to people that are outside my comfort zone, because it's very easy to reach out to your friends, people that associate with you, and go to school with your kids and so forth. So it's about personal responsibility and it's about leadership. So I think the community should choose board candidates that show the leadership qualities to lead us, because we are the one, the Board of Trustees is the body to lead the community. And we need to start with that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Valérie Nederovic. I'm a third grade teacher. I've been a teacher for 16 years in the school. I've been a board member. I'm the current president of the staff association. And I want to tell you that 2 years ago, the 85% of the staff voted to unionize. When you unionize, you give 1.4% of your salary. So usually teachers, when they are doing that, they are not doing it like this. It's because there is a big problem. So we've been living in a work environment that was very dysfunctional for us. A huge turnover in headmaster, huge turnover of administration, and now we have a huge turnover in the board. So what has been, and I agree with you yourself, is that we haven't been able to reach out to each other. That's probably why we have a very high lawyer and legal money, so much money has been spent. And I think it's very important to be able to reach to each other. With the previous board, the board that mostly resigned, it took us 1.5 months or 1 month to get an appointment with the president of the board. We had the feeling that nothing was moving on. It was really difficult. We were receiving email that he could not meet with us, he had his wife's birthday, etc., etc. So it's very important. The teacher loves the school. I mean, we love our job, we love the school. We want to be involved. We want to be able to be part of the task force. I want to remind you that the task force number 2, we were not part of. How can you build a strategic plan without having the teacher involved? So my question for you is, are you going to be able, or do you want to work with the teachers' union? Thank you.
Merci, Valérie. My daughter's in 3rd grade, not with Valerie, but Valerie plays her Madame Ventoux, I think. I reached out to you, and you invited me to ask other candidates who might present themselves to reach out to you, and I think it's essential. And as Ed and other members of the current board mentioned at a last week's, 2 weeks ago board meeting. They're working on things, I think, directly with you and the finance committee to talk about ways to increase retention, incentivize teachers, et cetera. So I think my actions speak for themselves, that I will continue to be talking to the teachers about what they bring to the school and what their partnership can be.
I think there have been a lot of communication problem. I think originally we talked about the field trips, which was a big problem for Ashbury. Budget were not communicated. I think it's wrong. I think we need to work better at communicating. Definitely we need to talk to the union. I think that's just not a question. I mean, we can't just avoid talking to the teacher. It's a school. I mean, it just makes no sense.
I just want to say that the last board, the one that just resigned, Ed Cashon and Yosef had reached to us, and some of the issues that seemed very simple to resolve, they were about to do it, and they resigned. So we're just hoping we will be able to, to get a better communication and be able to work better with the board.
So I think the question is still out there. Are you willing to work with the board? Is that the Teacher Association? Is that your desire?
Yeah.
Would you? Is that what
Yes.
you want? Yes. Anybody?
Absolutely.
I think it's obvious that all the candidates have that in mind. On record. Okay, this is our last question. Thank you very much.
So I'll start in French. La critique est facile, là où l'art est difficile. Who needs translation? La critique est facile, là où l'art est difficile.
What's the question?
Okay. Well, I'm making a statement. The question will come up later. Thank you. So what I see is a bunch of people who are very committed. So thank you very much for standing up. I have been at the lycée for 9 years. I have 2 kids. My wife just spoke up earlier. And we have seen many, many boards. What amazes me is that I see people who are young, inexperienced, but I see also people who have a lot of experience, and you guys are going to be managers. So like any organizations, you'll be maybe firing and hiring. We have seen this, the previous board, that you make a decision. That's tough. We are at the gates of Silicon Valley. People are being fired. Reorganization takes place all the time. You guys will have to go through this. So this is tough. So la critique est facile, là où l'art est difficile. Just remember that when you will be making decisions. Leadership. I heard the word leadership before. Great. I mean, I was at the GA meeting last week, and then personally, I've been silent for 9 years. My wife and I used to be our own parents at Ashbury, so we got to grow up, and I got some acquaintances thanks to this relationship we have developed over 9 years. What I've sensed is that we have newcomers, and that relationship, has not developed yet because people are very, I don't know if the word is correct, aggressive. There is no need to be aggressive. When we ask a question, when we make a statement or a joke that people understand, don't come and insult people. Don't place them in a clique. Clique is a French word. Don't place them in a clique. I am independent. I say this in one of my emails. The answers, I think it was you, Martina. You say you and your grand independence. Yeah. So, it's Claude Poulaison. So I have an email, I guess, concerning, I think, Martina, because I'm appalled, in fact, to have heard, what you've wrote, and I'm sorry to hear that, but you are running for candidates. I see that we had 2 political camps in the past, and there is a lot of toxicity. You guys have to stop that. This will stop at your level. No, the question. But I still see those cliques. I see an email. Yes, we got justification that Monsieur Godin doesn't exist. There's a name out there, Monsieur Taffin, right? So he exists. What I've seen board confidential documents being published on the web. And this document was published by Monsieur Taffin, so this name exists. So how are you guys going to stop that, being a board member? How are you going to stop, basically, that toxicity that exists today with people who are not on the board having access to confidential documents? Question number one. The second question, Martina, I guess I was concerned about the reputation of the lycée. I've been here 9 years. I have 2 kids, and I'm going to go all the way. No problem. We decided to have our kids raised in a bilingual environment. So your answer to when I basically was talking about reputation, you said, as for our school and its reputation, sorry to be realistic and harsh, but our reputation is already under serious assault and tarnished. That cat has left the bag long ago. Well, I'm French, so I'll make a joke. I nickname you La Mère Michel, perdu le chat. But, I mean, that's a joke, right? But how are you going to address basically reestablishing the reputation of the lycée? And that's the second question.
Okay, so I think the 2 questions here about, for everyone in general, of dealing with the toxicity of the environment, and then I think the second question was directed to you.
No, actually, 4 years. 4 years. So I'm not a newbie. I'll answer the second, and then I can let everybody else answer the first. So I care very much about the lycée, right? We've been in turmoil since the spring. And my statement to you in reply, to the email that you mentioned, again, this was just, fact, whatever, but, this is what I hear from the community outside of the school. And it's a recognition of the fact that if it's already out there outside of the school, yes, we have a bigger problem than we thought. My goal, and the goal here is, let's repair the school, right? Let's end the divisiveness, and again, end the whole he said, she said, this email, that email, you said this, you said that. At the end of the day, we don't get to change anything unless we step up, own our actions, right? Own our personalities, own our actions, and roll up the sleeves and say, all right, fine. Whatever's happened, we move forward past it. We have to work together.
I think, sir, she's answering your question, and we'd like to give everyone else a chance. Thank you.
So sorry, what was the second part of the question? I didn't. Oh, the toxicity. Okay. So the confidential document, first of all, I didn't post any confidential documents. The one thing I will step up and own and say that I posted on the Lycée Forum was letters from past board members who had resigned. I was given those by each of the board members with their permission and asked to publish it. That's all. It's not confidential. It's not revealing any state secrets. I was asked to just put a perspective out there. So let's just be very clear about that. Okay? Very clear. Now, about the toxicity. Right. I think you've all heard it tonight from everybody here, including myself, right? We're done. We're tired. There's specifics to work on. There's bylaws to address. There's governance to fix. There's such greater worries. There's the AFA Conventional and all the other accreditations. Huge problems. Those require a lot of work. There's no room for toxicity, right? We all have to, I think by virtue of us all standing up here, we're all committing and saying, hey, fine, we're going to put all that past us and we agree to work. We agree to work and we agree to work with different opinions. The 15, the 15, that have been mentioned tonight, I don't agree with everybody's opinions, but I respectfully disagree, and I'm willing to work with that, just like in a company, just like in a professional atmosphere. You don't agree on everything. You don't always get your way. Your way isn't always the most perfect way. You have to be willing to bend and compromise. If you're willing to do that, fantastic. That's how you make progress. That's my plan.
And can I just leave this on a positive note? I think that I speak for a lot of the people, community going to our schools. We want to move forward. We want to stop this toxicity. It's ridiculous. So let's leave on a positive note. Let's research all of our candidates. Let's move forward and move this school in the right direction. Let's support the head of school. Let's support the teachers and our children and stop the nonsense. Let's go forward. Let the past be past. Let's go forward.
Can I just address the specific question on the confidentiality breach? I'm a finance controller in a software company. I deal with legal, HR, and all that stuff. The breach of confidentiality duties is extremely serious, in my opinion. It just cannot happen. And as members of the board, we cannot let it happen. None of us, if we're elected, if any of us. It's just a no-go. And there are NDAs in place. It is absolutely critical that the board confidential information stays confidential, and there must be respect for that. And as for the toxicity, I personally have zero tolerance for rumors, hearsay, and I just think, I mean, it sounds a little obvious, but if we lead by example, if when we hear a rumor, we just look at the person and say, where did you hear that? Who told you that? And slowly it's going to go away. I'm hoping.
Okay. I think we're at 8:40.
I agree with what you said. This will be my last comment tonight. You had a loaded question, and I wanted to address a couple of points. You talked about leadership, and I agree with Youssef that the vote of the community is about selecting the leaders, not just to listen with the intent to understand, écouter et entendre, but also to debate, to challenge, to analyze the impact of potential decisions, and then to act upon them. And I think this is clear. And Youssef, I think, summarized it very well, that you are selecting leaders to act and put the school on the path for the next 3 to 5 years. And then you talked about our ability to hire, to fire people. Some of us have managed fairly large teams, even though we may look young.
Okay, so I'm going to end us. We're at 8:45. I think that there are endless number of questions, and it just shows that we're a very curious and passionate community. What I would like to say is that we have quite a few questions that were not answered online, and I'd like to propose that anyone who has a question to email it to communications@lelycée.org. I will post them, and I will invite all the board members to respond. I would give them a day, and we'll post all their responses online, because I think this is really important dialogue, and we're making very important decisions here. So I would like to thank all of our candidates for all their time, for coming here tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your lively discussions, and make sure you vote. Thank you. Good night.
And I want to thank Ilsuk for moderating that. A round of applause for Ilsuk. Thank you so much.
Hey, sure. Okay, I gotta get some.
Hey,
ready
Jim.
for futsal?
I'm still recovering. I'm so ready for a break. I can't even tell you. To go and to 2 freaking soccer fields every freaking weekend. I'm so ready to go. Like a bus.